Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grassroots Racer. On the show, I always like to speak to different people who are involved in different aspects of racing, and tonight's guest is well known for his involvement off the track instead of on it. He's still very passionate about motorsport and has a lot of supporters who follow him and enjoy what he's doing for grassroots racing. As a commentator and creating videos where he speaks to drivers and showcases at club level racing. So to find out more, let's welcome Kev the Noise Davies from all the way from sunny Queensland. How are you tonight, Kev?
Good, mate. How are you going? I'm good.
Yeah, I'm great, Kev. And as we were talking about before, everyone has a passion for motorsport. Where'd you get yours?
All right. So first of all, having had motorbikes in the UK and emigrating about 12 or 13 years ago, I got to this country. I think I was going to kill myself on the motorbikes that I bought here, so got rid of them. And funnily enough, some of my customers, because I sell oil, are into kart racing. So I started to look at kart racing. I bought a go-kart. I went to Warwick and became a member at Warwick Kart Club, where I do commentate at the moment. And I went and had my first race, having sort of practiced a little bit, went and had my first race, and it was really good fun. But then one day, having helped in the canteen with my good mate Steve Lamb, who was the then canteen convener, the president, Peter, asked if anybody could commentate on a particular day, because their commentator for, I think it was the Young Guns, hadn't turned up, wasn't available. So Steve Lamb said, Kev will do it, he's mad. So I commentated on that day for the first time ever. And my commentary has been exactly the same ever since. I'm loud, I'm noisy, I kind of try to make it fun, but now I do video. So it started there, and the kart racing that I tried and I enjoyed quickly took a back seat, and eventually I sold it because I'm just too busy commentating. I get very few weekends off in the year, so kart racing was clearly never going to be available to me because I'm always commentating. So the motorsport side of it, I've always loved MotoGP, Formula One. You know, coming from the UK, it's really big over there. Everyone's well into it. So I've always liked it. And when I got to Australia, V8 was, whoa, you know, I've been to several races and you can't turn it off. Once you get to a V8 race, it's addictive, you know, it's great. So the karting is where they come from. So it's really nice that you can go to a kart race meeting, and people that I've commentated on, the likes of Brock Feeney and Doohan's kid, you know, that they're driving race cars now. So it's really cool that you get that connection as well. That's cool.
You are very known for your colourful commentating, and you were just talking about your first race. And so how long have you been doing commentating for?
Around about 5 or 6 years now, roughly. Between 5 and 6 years is what I've been doing it for. And having started, first of all, in Warwick, I was then invited to go, it was Ipswich, and once they saw me, then Kalula wanted me to go there. Then Retro Karting Australia asked me to do their series. So that got me to Puckapunyal, Geelong, and Todd Road when I did the Enduro. I've also obviously been all around Queensland. I've been up as far as Proserpine through the Reef titles. And so when people saw what I did, it got a bit of a following because of the fact that, yes, there's an atmosphere. Yes, there's videos of every race that you do, but it creates something a little bit different to what they've got right now. So yeah, I get to go everywhere and do all sorts all over the place, and it's continuing this year. It doesn't look like I'm going to slow down anytime soon. I'm getting everywhere, so it's good.
Yeah, Kev, you've been everywhere around Australia. How do you like to travel?
I do like to travel when it's go-kart racing, especially because I'd love to go all new places, new tracks. And once I get to a track, I always tend to go a day early so I can at least go to the town and have a look around. So when I went to Canberra twice, of course, I did the War Memorial and the climb up the hill. You know, I've done it all because I've been there for a day before to be the tourist and then get to the track early and start to prepare and do what I do. So yeah, I love the traveling. The traveling is the best bit. Proserpine, I make a week's holiday of it. So the karting pretty much covers my week's holiday up there on the Great Barrier Reef. So you can't get better. And what could be better than that? You go up and commentate for a weekend and enjoy yourself, and everybody enjoys you being there. And you also throw a week's holiday in to boot. So it's brilliant. Yeah, love it. Yeah, can't get better.
You have been doing it a while. How did you get the name The Noise?
William Yarwood, right? I'll blame William for this. Will is the owner of Project X Racing, and the very first time I'd kind of gone into his shop to say good day. We'd known each other for a little while with karting and whatnot, seen each other at the tracks, and he just announced real loud one day, "Oh, it's The Noise," and I went, "Oh, that sounds good." And everybody said, "You got to adopt that." So I did adopt it. The Noise became The Noise. The logo became the cowboy hat and the cartoon picture. and it stuck. It absolutely stuck. I think I've sold about 250 of these shirts. I mean, that was a couple of years ago. Now I don't try to sell them anymore. I've not done that for a couple of years, but yeah, everybody wanted to be a part of the noise, especially when the noisy tour was thriving and everybody wanted to have a go at it. So yeah, it was good fun. And the noise came from William Yarwood, Project X Racing. We do now have the Project X Racing Noisy Tour, the Pro Noisy Tour. So yeah, he's a big part of what I do. You know, good mates with him. We go mountain biking together, and I normally crash and he doesn't. I break ribs and he doesn't. It's all good fun though. You know, I recover and then I go and do it again. But yeah, he's obviously helped me along the way. We banter and talk about a lot of things and try to put ideas across. And you know, if we don't always agree, we enjoy it. So it's good fun. Yeah. And the Noise is quite a good name, I think. The funny thing is, if I take this hat off and go to, say, Race of Stars, nobody recognizes me. I'm invisible. It's so funny. There might be 5 people that recognize me without the hat. But if I walk anywhere with a hat, it's hi Kev, hi Kev, hi Kev, everybody. Even in Canberra, everybody was saying hello Kev, and I've never been there before. It's quite bizarre. It's good though. Enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, you must love it. You've been to a lot of places. Do you have a favorite track?
I think if I was to say favorite track, Proserpine is really hard to beat because of the new lighting. They can run at night, and it's a really big, open, fast track. I really enjoyed that. But down Melbourne Way, Todd Road, Geelong, and Puckapunyal, honestly, they are next level. Absolutely next level. They are magnificent. And up here we've got a range of tracks with a hill and tracks that are flat. So my 2 favorites would be Warwick and Kalula. You know, Warwick because it's flat and got some good tricky turns. Kalula because it's got a magnificent sweeping bend. And I've raced there actually in 4-stroke, in the twin engine 4-stroke for the SEK QLD. And yeah, that was an eye opener. That was because racing for an hour in your stint is hard work in a twin engine 4-stroke, but good fun, really good fun. I should say I have driven most karts. So I've driven DD2s, KZ2s, twin-engined 4-strokes, single-engine 4-strokes. I've even driven an F100 because one of the guys let me have a go in there, F100, and a tag open karts, and I owned a tag restricted kart. So I've had a go in them all, and so I kind of know what they're doing. I was just never any good at it.
Yeah, it would. I think you would have loved the KA class if you are young enough to race in that. That was a really fun class for me when I was karting. You know how you were telling me that you get recognised with the cowboy hat on a lot. So when did that start to happen, and how did it make you feel?
It's a good story with this. Darren, Steve Lamb's brother, he was at Steve's house one day, and I was out commentating, and because I film, so the second race in, I'm filming races. And I have to stand in the middle of a circuit to do that. So I've got a camera in one hand, microphone around my neck, and the timing system in this hand. But I was getting burnt because I've got no shade. So he said, here, have my cowboy hat. So he gave me his. It was a great big enormous white cowboy hat. So from that day forth, having got the cowboy hat off him, I then purchased my own. The cartoon picture was with a cowboy hat, and it just stuck. So if ever I'm commentating now and it's out in the open, I've obviously going to stop my head from burning with my cowboy hat on. Most of them supply me shade now. I've even got towers built at 3 clubs. They've actually built a commentary tower. It's unbelievable. So yeah, it's stuck because of the sunshine, and I needed a bit of shade cover, and that was it. That's what I had while I was filming. Yeah.
So a lot of things just appear around you and they stick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. 2022 is going to be a busy calendar. What have you got in store?
2022 looks like I'm waiting for Davies races. I've not got Davies yet. Last night, I pretty much got an agreement with Alan Gurr from the F100 Queensland to do the F100 races. 4 of those, hopefully, should be getting to do those. I'll be doing some Auskart racing. This weekend is Warwick on Sunday. I'll be doing all of Warwick's races this year. I'll be doing more of the the reef titles in Proserpine. I'll be doing Kalula. I'm doing a couple of races up there for the 4SS Triple Crown Series run by Coolum Karts. So those guys asked me to do their Triple Crown Series. We've got the Pro Noisy Tour, so I will go to Dalby, Ipswich, Kalula and Warwick with that one, which we're just trying to work out what the finalised dates will be. And so there's lots and lots of racing going on. And Ipswich City Dirt Karts is one of my absolute favourites because they're all sideways. You've got to admit, sliding a kart is brilliant. And at Ipswich City Dirt Karts, they are turn right and steer left kind of thing because they're just drifting everywhere and it looks so much fun. I've driven a kart around there, so I have done dirt karting as well, and yeah, that was a bag of fun. That is brilliant, and I do that I think 5 or 6 times this year. We're trying to get a big event with them, but that's going to be next year, I think. Now we've got talks in the pipeline to have a really big event for dirt karting, which is a pretty specialised area, and there's only a couple of tracks in Queensland, Marmar Creek and Ipswich City Dirt, and yeah, we're just trying to set something up that will be really much like you have the nationals in the States in sprint karts. They don't really have that as such. I think there's one down south, but nothing up here. So we're just seeing what we can do. We might get something. You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got events everywhere by the looks of it. Where's a couple of places you haven't been to?
All over the place. I've not been to Perth.
I'd
love to go. Yeah, I haven't been to Perth. I might be going to Dubbo this year. That's not set up yet, but I know the RKA and F100s will all join, I think, for a round of the RKA Championship, and hopefully I'll be able to get down to that one because that will be, everybody wants to go to that one. That will be Retro Karting Australia's, I think, biggest event of the year. That could be an absolute cracker. So I'd love to get to that one. And that's not too far. I could almost drive there. So yeah, I'm hoping we get that one. Yeah, that'd be really good.
So what is the Formula 100 class? Because I don't remember it being a class when I was karting.
So Retro Karting Australia is the retro series, and the likes of Jamie Whincup and all these kind of guys that are in V8s or were in V8s now, they used to race Formula 100s. It's a 100cc engine between 18 and 22,000 RPM. They're absolute screamers, air cooled, and they kind of hand over the bloody carby to choke a bit of fuel in corners, so they're driving one-handed half the time. They run the F100s and Clubmans in a series. And the Clubmans have light, heavy, and super heavy. And then the F100s have light and heavy. So there are obviously a lot of blokes at different weights. You couldn't have one specific weight. So as a series, they might get 80 or 90 drivers in all what we call retro gear, really nicely presented equipment. And there's lots of ex-V8 drivers and current drivers racing in that series. Barry Ryan's only just stopped. He, one of the owners of Erebus. He was racing a couple of years ago with the guys, and yeah, there's plenty of them that are still really keen on those karts and still have them, and then go out and race them whenever they can. It's a great series to be a part of. Yeah.
So Barry Ryan used to race Formula 100 years ago.
I think his might be a Clubman. I can't remember now if it was Clubman or F100, but yeah, he was in a kart in Geelong when I was there. Definitely, yeah. He's raced. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
he didn't win. He didn't win though. Just saying, he didn't win.
Did he do all right though?
He can drive. Yeah, he can drive. Yeah.
I remember when the V8 Supercars did an E series, and Barry Ryan was doing it, and he had Kostecki like whispering in his ear how to take all the different corners and stuff. Funny to watch him do that, because they did I think it was like an All-Stars. No, I think they did like an E series.
An All-Stars round. I remember that. Yeah. They had stars and they had races with them. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys who were not drivers, but they're obviously really keen on their bloody E-Series stuff. They were really good drivers, some of them. Yeah. Andy Gilliam, one of the drivers from Ipswich Kart Club up here, he's a kart racer, but he's well into his bloody online racing, and he got a drive in one of the V8 cars as a kind of a thank you for being so good in the E-Series. I think he was 3rd or 4th in the E-Series. Andy Gilliam, he drove really well. Yeah.
Yeah, I love my online racing. It's just so fun.
It's getting really, really popular, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's getting really popular. Yeah.
You can jump on games like iRacing, which is a very realistic simulator. You can just chat to people from all around the world, like from people from America, the UK, just anywhere really. It's really fun.
It's quite complicated though. You've got to get it right, haven't you? With all the settings, it's like running a true race. You know, fuel, tyre, pressures, everything. You've got to really set it up right, haven't you? Yeah.
One thing I noticed, which is very important on the simulator, is the car setup. Like, I remember in karting, I could just put the sprocket on that needs to be on for the track, leave the front how it is, and just go out there and adapt to it. And, you'd still be half quick, and then you can make setup changes later. But on the simulator, if you don't have the right setup, you're not going to be quick. That's one thing I definitely noticed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So you've told me that you've driven a lot of karts. Have you actually done many races in them?
I've driven the karts and I raced only in tag restricted light, and only a few races. I didn't do very much at all. And very quickly got into commentating because I don't think I was ever going to be any good at racing. I really enjoy jumping in the car. It's such a buzz, you can imagine if you don't do it very often, the adrenaline rush is crazy. But I was very quickly accosted to go commentating, and that's just taken over. You can imagine I've been all over the country. I've really enjoyed it, and I just, enjoy doing what I do. It's good fun. It's never going to stop. Too much fun. Yeah. I've been asked to go to the UK. I commentated on the Spirit of the 90s series a year and a half ago now. The Spirit of the 90s is all retro karting along with club races. I think there was about 250 odd entries, and they actually, believe it or not, had 2 Eurosport commentators live at the track. I was a live link from Australia, early hours of the morning, and they had 5 cameras around the track, and it was like it's a £50,000 film show. It costs an absolute fortune. So I was the live link to Australia, commentating on a UK race, which is really quite good. And they've asked me to go over and do a race, but obviously COVID hit and it stopped because that was going to happen 2 years ago. So until we get borders open again and flights available and stuff like that, then I will be going back to my homeland and doing at least a race weekend over there somewhere because they want to get me over. So that'll be good fun, going back and doing one over there.
Yeah, now I've got more of a serious question. Do you have anyone that supported you along the way and you'd really like to thank?
To be honest, all of the retailers and club presidents are unbelievably supportive. So even down to Dolby, one of the smallest clubs, the president and vice president there, Tim and Josh, they built a tower for me. I mean, fabrication work in it is unbelievable. So they built it so it's got 360 uninterrupted view. Honestly, you couldn't get more from such a small club. So every president at all the clubs that I go and commentate at, they're unbelievably supportive, and they look after me so well when I get there. I'm like a superstar. It's embarrassing sometimes. It's that good. And then the retailers, Desi from Power Republic, obviously Will from Project X, and the Northside Kart Supplies, Kev, and Jenny from Chaos Karting. All these guys, Adam from DPE, I try and remember all their names. They're all really friendly. Every time I see them, they're really friendly as well. And I can sometimes have a chat and an interview with them. But if they weren't as friendly as they were, and all these people liked what I do, I wouldn't want to go. So the fact that I'm kind of greeted and asked to go, I never request to go and race, to go and commentate anywhere. I've never asked anybody. They always ask me if I can go. Unless it's RKA and F100 Queensland, because I actually asked them. I like doing that so much. So I might even put a request in every now and then. But honestly, they ask me if I can go. I say if I'm free or not. And I get there and you just feel so welcome. And then, of course, all the drivers like you too. Well, most of them. Yeah, so it's just there's so many people that have helped me along the way and look after me and make sure that I get what I want and can do what I want to do, where I have to do it. That it's brilliant. Warwick built a tower. Kalula built a tower. Dolby built a tower. It's just unbelievable, You
obviously love your commentary. Is it something you'd like to keep doing? And is there any other categories of racing you'd like to commentate for?
I did commentate once or not, believe it or not, the supercarts. They asked me to go and do a supercart race, and I had to go up in the commentary booth with the guys that were doing the kart races. So the saloon cars are going around. There's a couple of other categories going around. When the supercart started, I'm commentating in my normal style, and they even said out loud on the microphone, "This guy's going to burst a blood vessel in a minute. He's going to lose it," because I was doing my normal thing, screaming and getting excited. So I'd love to do other sports, but honestly, my style is a style that fits with an 8 or a 10 or a 15-minute race. If you've got a 2-hour V8 race or a 30-minute supercarts or whatever it might be, you can't do my style for that long. So there's not much other sporting categories that I think would fit, unless it was perhaps motocross or speedway bikes, they would possibly fit into it, where there's lots of overtaking and there's shorter categories or things you can concentrate on. But karting is the main one that I like doing. I can do because it fits the style and the way that I do it, and the format works. Other formats probably don't tend to fit in. Yeah.
I actually did supercarts, and I managed to set a lap record by 3 seconds at Broadford.
Oh, well done. Was that a 125 or a 250?
125.
Yeah, right. They're still fast because they're Grand Prix engines, aren't they?
Because I was 12, I couldn't race the gearbox karts yet, so I just had to race the non-gearbox ones, and they were still fun to race and everything. But I think now, because I'm 14, I've got my proper cam circuit license, I could go back and race the gearbox karts.
Yeah.
Because those
they're called, the 250s are called the international class, but the 125, you'd be able to race the 125 gearbox class, which is 125 Grand Prix engines. But they still do 180 to 200 kilometers an hour. I think they're just so fast because they gear them up properly for whatever circuit. So at Lakeside, they are absolute rockets. Geez, they're quick. And same at QR, down the straight at QR, they really rip. Geez, they're fast. Yeah, quick as.
Yeah, the 250s are about 6 seconds quicker than the V8 supercars around Phillip Island.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think they still hold 1, maybe 2 lap records around the country. So, because obviously V8s are not the quickest. There are some faster cars than V8 supercars, but I'm sure supercars have got 2 lap records still. I don't know where they are. I've heard this, so you have to be confirmed. But they are. I mean, they're super fast. Their braking point is way later than anything else into a corner. So obviously they're going to go fast, and they're super quick in a straight line. Once they get up to speed, they are dead quick. Yeah.
What have you enjoyed most about showcasting grassroots racing and bringing some fun to and entertainment to the spectators?
I think the funny thing is that if you look at the Karting Australia, Karting New South Wales, they have big events. Although I have done Pro Tour, I forgot about that. I should have mentioned it. I did do Pro Tour last year for Karting New South Wales because they run that series now. But Karting Australia with Matt Payne, the national guy who does Ipswich Kart Club now, they do a really good job of filming and putting on a show for the national series. So if you're racing national, you'll get coverage of yourself in what I would term almost like watching V8 races, where the show is really good, it's presented really well, it's very professional, and that's what they do. If you go then to state level, club level, series level, anywhere in the country, apart from one series that I know in Perth, Western Australia, nothing is ever on video unless it's someone's kart coverage on their GoPro or mum and dad with a phone in the stands. So nobody else that I know of is doing what I do. So I always felt, now that I've gotten this service that I'm providing, I really like the fact that somebody who maybe had their first or second race, or granddad wants to see the kid race, has never seen the kid racing, they can watch it now. And I call their name out, I call everyone's name out. And I concentrate, not just the guys at the front. If there's a battle at the back, for 10th place and 11th place, for 19th and 20th place, I'll video them. I'll follow them if it's a battle. I don't care who's winning or who's last. If there's a race being had, I'll follow that. So that's kind of what I do. And I think the fact that parents, grandparents, and everybody else can now watch what's on, it's really good that they get to see that on YouTube, and they can watch it on a great big screen, and it's obviously in high resolution, and they can watch themselves, and it's really good. So whether they watch it or not is kind of irrelevant to me now. The fact that they can go and watch it, and they're all back catalogued, everybody can go and find themselves just by doing a search, and they get to see it. So it's something nobody else gets in club or state level. Nobody. You only get it if you go to KA races. And I like that, the fact that, if you get Kev the Noise Davis to your event, you're going to get 2,000 photos, you're going to get 30 driver interviews, you're going to get videos and commentary, and it's just a one whole package for the same amount of money. It's cool.
Yeah. One last question for you. Where can the viewers find all your content? What social media platforms are you on?
Kev the Noise Davis YouTube channel. They'll also find it on Kev the Noise Davis Facebook page, because I often go, if I'm filming some of the F100 guys especially, and I know a lot of them, not only will I video still, so which will go 1080p HD on YouTube, but I'll go live and have 2 videos going, filming the same race and still commentating. So the live feed, especially for the F100 Queensland, the guys in Melbourne like to watch it. So Kev the Noise Davies or Kev Davies Facebook channel and Kev the Noise Davies YouTube channel. It's all on there every time, loaded up within a couple of days of every event. They're all loaded up and then labeled, and everyone can go and watch them. Yeah, it's cool. All loaded up. And then every race meeting that I've done, Kart Sport News do links to all the finals, do a story from me, and put the photos or links up to everything that I've put on my pages as well. So Kart Sport News will always have everything that Kev the Noise Davies does. Mark puts everything up for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love what you're doing, Kev, and I'll make sure I leave the link to your Facebook and YouTube in the description. It's been lots of fun meeting you and having a chat about your involvement in motorsport, and I can see why a lot of people are loving what you're doing. Everyone, make sure you check out Kev's channels. He does a really good job of his live commentary, and if you do see him with the cowboy hat, you know who it is. Yeah, and also, guys, just remember to head over to his channel and subscribe, and also to Filippin Mad Motorsport's channel as well if you want to. If you're racing this weekend, drive fast and take chances on the track, of course.
Thanks, mate. Really good to be with you.
And
The Noise signing out.